Welcome to my humble world of love and light. Welcome to my space and my beautiful, beautiful cats who are one of the main reasons that we are all co-creating together. Welcome to my humble world of love and light. Today's talk is very important and dear to our heart, to all of us as a human nature, to our core of existence and coexistence. But before we even dive into the core of today's talk, my day wouldn't be complete without going on my knees with gratitude. Thank you, God Almighty, for the daily bread. Thank you for our family, for our friends. Thank you for today's session, and thank you for the abundance and holiness and prayers. And thank you for sending the best people in our life. And thank you for all of us that we are starting all over. Welcome again. Today's talk is about depression to joy. Depression to joy. And why depression? Why depression? For those who know me and don't know me, when we started the page, your page, Chamuel of Light, if you go back on Insta to the very first post ever, I did promise everybody that my mission life evolves around letting every woman in the world know she is the most beautiful woman in the universe. Every husband, every male, every single and married person, they are the best ever in my world and the universe. Every child and every single child who is the president of tomorrow, the healer, the light worker, the technician, the most beautiful foundation of tomorrow that are our children, our pets, our animals, our universe, our everything in life. That is why I want to share with you how to go through depression to joy. And before I even go there, why I'm writing on the board. I wouldn't say the word again. When we had the lockdown, I will never even mention it again. I normally use a journey within. I was telling always myself in these few months, how can I invest my time? How can I fulfill my promise? How can we all together thrive with energy, and we all are energy, and there is nothing but energy. So, within my meditation few months back, I felt something very important to me, that every workshop that I do, whether it is Reiki, meditation, depression, abundance, all the workshops, a lot of people out there, they do not want to study or graduate or be a part of that energy, if you will, but they want to have a workshop of humble knowledge. So, all my years of humble experience, I humbly organized a platform where people can attend all the workshops for 3 or 4 hours without any studies. Basically, any energy modality in a humble way. I summed up the whole universe in pages that they are mandatory that we go through together. So, welcome again to depression to joy. There are 2 sections for today. Hopefully I will have enough time. Let's see how we go. Part 1 is what is the scientific explanation, data statistics of International World Health Organization, or WHO. Part 2 is what is the spiritual pattern of depression, what is the energy of depression, and how we can transform depression into joy. And as I mentioned, we are energy, and there is nothing but energy. So, according to the World Health Organization, depression is classified or defined as a mood disorder causing persistent, consistent, almost permanent feeling of sadness, loss of interest. If ignored, it can lead to a behavior and emotional paralysis, I'm talking about the emotional paralyzation, or a person who doesn't feel interest in anything that is so beyond the blues or feeling the blues. It needs clinical help. So, major depressive disorders are very common, yet a serious condition that affects our daily life negatively, feeling almost emotional and mental, psychological, and everything in us is just low. No interest in life at all. It is a state of being, of low mood, that has direct impact on our thoughts, feelings, behavior. It is an evolution of negative, suppressed, repressed emotions towards self-rejection, hopelessness, the core of lack of self-love and self-acceptance and self-validation. The scientific definition of it is called anhedonia. Anhedonia, that is loss of pleasure. And just like the famous Albert Einstein, he had a very famous quote, and that's a very good quote. We cannot change or solve any problems with the same thinking or the same energy that we created the problem. We cannot save or solve any problem with the same emotion or feeling that has caused that problem. I personally call it a situation. We all know 95% of our subconscious mind. From the very beginning of time, the caveman survival, where the man had to survive, support and provide for the woman in the cave time, and the woman had to worry days and night to protect her children. Our brain, subconscious mind, is wired 95% automatic default of going back to the instinct of survival, meaning cortisol, that is the substance that our brain produces to our hormones to protect ourselves, to run in the wilderness. With today's energy modalities and all the modalities of psychology, philosophy, and energy, it is to work on the 5% that is conscious to make it 100% of telling your subconscious mind one day, you work for me, I don't work for you. We tell the subconscious mind, after all these serious and fun and energy modality sessions, my subconscious mind, you work for me, I don't work for you. And it's all back to self-love. For example, the very famous people in the world like Whitney Houston, Amy Winehouse, Marilyn Monroe, the most beautiful woman in the world, they never felt self-love. They never ever felt self-love. And Marilyn Monroe used to be asked all the time, why are you attracting all the attention? And do you know what was her answer? And that's quoted by the whole universe. I want to be loved by everybody. I want to be loved by everybody. Meaning to say, it's very important to tell the child in us, I love you. And before I go further, I want you to look at this mirror and what is written on it. There is a quote, I love you. And every single day, every single morning, as you brush your teeth, I need you to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. I am worth it. And I am so lovable. I love you, I'm lovable, and I am so worth it. This is how we go through the first step of self-love, self-validation, self-acceptance, because if we don't forgive, love, and accept ourselves, no one will do that for us. No one ever. It's all about the journey within. That is why we have always a way, a choice, a pattern to transform depression to joy. There might not be at all enough time for this talk. That's why I'll try my level best, as I mentioned, to share the scientific part and the energy part of depression. As we agreed, it is a major disorder One of the there are few types, by the way, according to WHO, or the World Health Organization, and all the years of statistics about depression. They've classified depression for so many types or parts. Type 1, it is called MDD. That is major depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder. That is the person who's constantly living in a depressed mood, lack of interest in activities, changes and fluctuation of weight, loss of interest in everything. The sleep pattern can be too much sleep or too less sleep, fatigue, guilt and guilty feeling, worthlessness, and that leads to an ending. Sometimes it can be suicidal. Why I'm saying this data and this scientific data is for everybody out there to observe your loved ones and to offer them help and support. These are the signs that I've summed up according to the World Health Organization for years and years of human nature. Number 2, as I mentioned, it can lead to suicidal in some cases if it's not taken care of. Type 2 of depression, it's called PDD, as in persistent depressive disorder. We mentioned number 1, major depressive disorder. Part 2, persistent depressive disorder. That is called in science dysmethia. That is so chronic, days, months, and years. It can go for days and months and years for people to hide those symptoms, that they can go from mild, moderate to chronic depression. Why is that? Because some people are so good at camouflage and looking like the happiest people ever. Remember, our inborn natural DNA self-defense mechanism in the cave time, the man, if he showed any signs of weakness, he's gone. The woman, if she showed any signs of weakness in that caveman time, somebody else's take over, or the animals take over the family and eat them or kill them. That is why it is very important to go through all these modalities together to rewire, recondition, rehabilitate the subconscious mind, the 95% that is automatic, robotic, survival, cortisol, that is the hormone of adrenaline to run away. 5% is consciousness, like now in every modality or every conversation, even at the most successful management meeting ever, 5% is conscious. We have to change it around to become 95%, even 100% of subconscious mind. You work for me, I don't work for you. So, as I mentioned, it is persistent depressive disorder. One might experience brief moments, periods of wellness, joy. It can be initially not severe, can relapse or become recurrent if ignored. The symptoms are sadness. Now you have to pay attention, even watch the episode again after I'm done, because they are so similar in symptoms. Sadness, loss of interest, lack of feeling of the pleasure, anger, irritation, guilt, low self-esteem, insomnia, escape reality pattern, hopelessness, fatigue, almost zero interest in everything. Again, the appetite varies, lack of concentration, spaced out, subconscious mind check out. Such people unintentionally, because they need help and sometimes they're too proud to ask for help, they go through an escape reality pattern, or they call it checking out. And now, type 3 of depression. And that's very important to all the human nature, bipolar. That is a very serious mood disorder. The science name for it is called mania. And sometimes it can be hypomania, which is low, or hypermania, which is extreme. It is an impairment of one's life. It causes paralysis, as I mentioned. Sometimes it can lead to hospitalization. Psychiatry or psychology treatment is mandatory to help our loved ones, because remember, No one ever in the world did not suffer depression. We all did. So they need our love, and the guilt feeling has to go away. So minor can be leading to major if it's ignored. And remember that 50% of our physical pain is based on psychological patterns or trapped, suppressed, repressed emotions. And the person who are not confident enough to say, help me, I need your help, and I need a hug from you. That's why it's very important to express and to speak up the communication chakra. Tell your family what exactly makes you happy, and vice versa. Express your emotions. Symptoms are fatigue, insomnia, lethargy, pains, and agitation, hopelessness, lack of self-esteem, irritability, anxiety, and indecisiveness and disorganization. It can lead to psychotic behavior, even suicidal if it develops seriously. And now, I say it all the time, there is a big difference between helping somebody and destroying your own self. Meaning, if I am in a friendship or in a relationship that is abusive, I'm talking about physical abuse, even psychological abuse, words can destroy, words can kill somebody. If that is your man, your woman, your friend, if somebody is an energy vampire. Now, you have tried few times to help them, and you have tried few times again and again, and you still, God forbid, wake up next day with a blue face or a purple face or a personality that you feel you hate yourself, because such people, they need help. Meaning, they're very good at making the woman or the man feel guilty, and it's their mistake, and after that, they tell them sorry. No means no, and the time is now. Run away. We are not psychologists, we are not psychiatrists. If, God forbids, you are in such a relationship or friendship, you owe it to your inner child. Walk away and do not look back. I'm asking you kindly from my heart. Such people, which could have been anybody, it could have been me, it could have been anybody, they need psychiatry and psychology help. So walk away. Type number 4, postpartum depression, PDD, postpartum depression. That is hormonal, and it is specifically for beautiful pregnant women who are bringing to us the gift of life, the gift of children, the gift of motherhood, and the beautiful, handsome, abundant men who are waiting for that child and supporting the wife, and supporting the emotional wife with everything that can do. So hats off for all the men out there who are supporting their woman. So the moods of the pregnancy hormone shift from swinging moods during and post-pregnancy sometimes, and it can be mistaken for bipolar. It's been proven that such feelings are post-hormonal after birth. These symptoms can be mistaken to bipolar, which is very, very serious as a bipolar if it's not taken care of, and if you don't know how to read between the line. My cat wants to come out, sorry. They always give me the sign to open the door or close the door. Anyways, back to subject. Beware, it is more than baby blues. After pregnancy or after delivery, if it proceeds, do not ignore it. Mood swings after birth can go up to 2 weeks. If it becomes severe and long-lasting, the symptoms are, it needs help, of course. If it becomes long-lasting and severe, some women after birth, God forbids, they cannot stand their child. They don't want the child at all, and that's a very serious condition. And that beautiful mother needs help. The dad is supposed to support and forgive and protect and provide like the cave time. And know it's only a matter of time. With your love and support, you can have the most beautiful wife and the most beautiful mother in the world. And for that, I recommend meditation and so many mild energy modalities. So, as I mentioned, the mood swing can be up to 2 weeks. The symptoms are low mood, sadness. Severe mood swings can be snappy at time, social withdrawal, trouble bonding with the baby, appetite swing, helpless, hopeless, no interest, anxiety, social withdrawal, and panic attacks. And how many million times in any job in the world people have panic attacks? Enough is enough. If I'm a worker, an employee, a friend, a husband, a wife, a manager, authority figure, it doesn't give anyone the right at all to give the authority and cause the co-workers around you or the family or the friends to have panic attacks because of that individual unintentional bipolar personality. We all have insecurities and scars. We are to love the scars. We are to love the insecurities. They made us stronger. They made us realize how beautiful we are. It is not the right of any person to make you feel less of yourself. Do not give anyone situation or energy to make you feel less of yourself. If you have any issue or any situation, I call it, feel free. My number is on my portal of the page. I'm all yours for a free consultation, any minute, any day. My heart belongs to human nature and the animal and the planet. So, we are to take care of beautiful women, the beautiful women who give birth, who are pregnant during pregnancy and after pregnancy. Alright, another type of depression, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. That is the common symptoms of it. I call it Mother Nature for women. I won't say the name on air, but you know Mother Nature for women, they have those aches and pains, irritation, fatigue, anxiety, moodiness, bloating, appetite swing, mood, like they feel sometimes hungry or craving for chocolate or sugar or fast food. That is Mother Nature. That is the beauty of Mother Nature. That is the contrast of pain to appreciate health, to appreciate wealth, to appreciate abundance, and to appreciate that every woman out there is the most beautiful woman in the world. So, symptoms are extreme fatigue, sadness, hopelessness, self-critical, and self-blaming, and guilt, anxiety, and lack of concentration. Normally these symptoms go away after a few days because Mother Nature, when we bond with her, when we connect to her, she gave us the best ever energy. As I mentioned, we are energy. And remember the Ayurveda I spoke about before? Ayurveda is beautiful. Beautiful, by the way. So, we are to take care of Mother Nature. Few times, and I would pray that it's few times, the natural pain of Mother Nature for women can develop to serious depression, which I don't wish to anybody at all. Studies have proven that the natural inborn genetical alteration of our brain cells back to the cave time, back to the cortisol, adrenaline, in nowadays time, with stress, with anxiety, with fear, can lead from a Mother Nature pain in women to a severe depression. Please pay attention to yourself and those who are around you. And another specific scientific research, 30% of the women in the world who have natural inborn pain of Mother Nature can develop depression if it's not taken care of. I'm talking about meditation, I'm talking about having aromatherapy, loving yourself, going in the wilderness, swimming, doing some yoga, lighting a nice candle. I have my me time. Otherwise, it can easily develop to depression. Now here, pay attention. because this is a very serious type of depression. Again, it's almost half an hour. From the bottom of my heart, I recommend you to book this workshop. I can do it with you one-on-one, in person, few people, or one-on-one or Zoom. Why I'm saying that? There is not enough time at all to finish the talk, and depression is very important. We have to share, all of us, and how to become and how to transform and how to change depression to happiness. I'm trying my best to share all the info that I know, but it's never enough. 1 hour is never enough. Normally in a workshop, it can be up to 4 hours in any modality that a person wants to learn about without studies, just the knowledge, out of which there is a 1 hour of sound healing meditation and the beauty of meditation. And that is how you can feel the energy of meditation. So, this is a serious type of depression. It's called MDD, Major Depressive Disorder. Major Depressive Disorder, that is a clinical chronic depression that can develop over time. It becomes so chronic and so clinical if it's not taken care of. A person goes through long period of sadness, extremes of hopelessness and sadness, fatigue. It can be up to 2 weeks, 2 years, 10 years, name it. It can be chronic depression. So we are to pay attention. No one ever deserves to live in depression. Starting to fast forward, because I want you to know as much as I can. One type of depression, it's called seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder. That is self-explained. It is up to the seasons. Remember the 4 elements or 5 elements or the 4 earth corners. I'm talking about the south, east, north, and west, and how to eat according to the seasonal food and how to wear the colors of the seasons. For example, that is why I have golden today and I have yellow. Because when you think of yellow, when you think of the sun, when you think of joy, immediately you feel happiness. And the brain listens to what you tell it. If you are consistent in every day speaking to yourself love words, kind words, abundant words, it becomes your second nature. That when you go through depression, like everybody in the world, all of us, you're able to bounce back and raise the frequency vibration to almost the angelic realm, almost there, and come back and share your story and take somebody else's hand to be cured from depression. I did mention already the bipolar. By the way, that's why I don't want to share much confusing information unless you attend the workshop with me. Even with bipolar, when we used to think, oh, it's a bipolar, there is, according to the World Health Organization, type 1 and type 2 of bipolar, which have signs and symptoms and contrasts again and again. So I don't want to confuse you. Alright, I mentioned the seasonal affecting disorders, that is, according to the season, if we lack sun, if we lack sun and vitamin D, if we lack vitamins from the greens, from Mother Earth, from nature, it can develop from a seasonal depression to a major clinical chronic depression. I repeat, if we are not so consistent and so much having the energy of Mother Nature and eating the greens and the fruits, we are, God forbid, going to develop the seasonal depression into a chronic clinical depression. And I mentioned about the 4 corners of earth and the 5 elements. And last but not least, there is something, a type of depression, and that's very common for all human nature, that is called a typical depression. Typical depression, that is what you call feeling the blue. So, there are so many types and so much sophisticated complex. I wouldn't call it intricate because intricate is a beautiful world, and you are beautiful, and you are my world, and you are the reason why every life, I'm already thinking now as I am with you in my heart and I'm in your heart, I'm already thinking what is going to be the next life. Surprise, I won't tell you now, but I promise it will be a surprise. In fact, a very big, massive surprise. I will announce about it soon. Typical depression. The typical depression, which is feeling the blue. We are to self-assess and self-observe. It's very easy to self-assessment and self-observation. That is overeating, binging, oversleeping, escape reality pattern, a person who wants to sleep all the time, a person who escapes reality pattern in some way, somehow, which I won't go to complicated details because it could be confusing. A person who's sensitive to rejection, a person who does not accept rejection. Yes, if I am rejected at a meeting, at a job, at a conference, at a door I knock, so what? That rejection is gonna make me love myself more and persist and insist and go within my heart and remind me, where do I develop myself? Where do I need to work? Is it my information? Is it my presentation? Is it my energy? Is it the way I walk? Is it the way I talk? Or is it that person in front of me has a bit of lack of confidence or unintentional depression, that sometimes when you are good out there, when you are beautiful, abundant, and holy and successful, the other pattern tends to reject you, because some way, somehow, you can come across as a threat. Remember when I mentioned before superiority and inferiority complex? Unintentionally, some people closes the door in front of you. Rejection is the incentive to be successful. Back to typical depression. Depressive disorder with typical features of depression. The depressive disorder with typical features of depression, if it's not taken care of, I mean about the fatigue, the weakness, the feeling down, the beautiful, I wouldn't say beautiful, but everything is beautiful in our life when we want to shut ourselves and we don't want to talk to anybody, even our relationship and family. If it's not taken care of, it can lead to major depression. That's very, very important. So, the summary, now is the summary of the scientific pattern of depression before I go into spirituality reasons or explanations for depression. Summary of the scientific facts or the clinical facts of depression or the international statistics, because I promise you, I've been working on this since the last live I did, and that's how I take it very seriously, because I promised you and I always will challenge myself to bring you the best, because you are the best in my world. So, to sum up, the depression, the medical, clinical depression, it's a biological difference, physical changes in the brain. There are physical changes in the brain, in the neurons, that they are significant to change and significant to make us depressed or depression. So it is very important to seek help, as in psychiatry if needed. The neurotransmitter, the brain chemistry, the neurotransmitters are the inborn natural brain chemicals that if there is no balance and harmony even in the neurons of the brain, the white substance of the brain, the gray matter of the brain, the hormones in the brain, all the hormones in our system, the pineal gland and all the glands and endocrine system, if there is a lack of balance, it can lead to neurotransmitter lack of balance, meaning depression. The hormones, pregnancy and thyroid glands, the hypothyroid, the hyperthyroid can cause depression if not taken care of. The inherited traits, as in genetical inborn DNA, and if our inborn DNA family, I'm talking about auntie, uncle, that they have depression, I am losing time. And all this medical and physical bureau of psychology and psychiatry have classified depression. But I tell you, in the world of energy, which I will start soon, there is nothing called DNA will dictate how I feel, believe, or love, or accept. In the spirituality, you can change your DNA, even the DNA of your blood cells, your injuries, leg, back, anything in your body, any back problem, anything in the body, with your energy thinking and the right, correct energy diagnosis, you are able to change your DNA. The evidence is, everybody knows Dr. Emoto, the very famous Dr. Emoto. He got the water and he kept 2 experiments, and that is proven by science, by the way, Dr. Emoto. Some water were told, I hate you, negative emotions, and some waters were told, I love you. Who won? I love you. 3 doctors in China, years back, somebody had a severe tumor cancer in the body somewhere, which is not cured by science, because science dictated the genetical inborn DNA, which is correct, but we can change it. They were channeling energy, and before you even know, the cancer disappeared. So many energy modalities that can all to us together go through are able to change the genetical inborn DNA of our blood cells and go from depression to happiness, to joy, to manifestation, and to abundance. I'm going to... This is my life, my happiness, my joy. How I wish the 1 hour can go to 2. No. Right. According to spirituality, we are able to change our pattern, and we are able to change every single energy cell in our mind, soul, spirit, and body. So, 20% of humans already suffer from depression. Depression merges back to once. After this, if they stop medication, it can go back. We have to understand the energy behind depression, the core reason behind depression, and from the spiritual point of view, depression is a dark energy that is caused by the absence of light. As per spirituality all over the world, by facts and by experience, whether it's Reiki, meditation, whether it is sound healing, color therapy, yoga, where the breath and body becomes one, pranayama, or the breath of life, depression is caused from a dark energy or a dark side which manifests itself into depression when we are vulnerable. It becomes a heavy dark emotion. Remember the energy, we are energy. Our emotions are energy in motion. So it can make us or break us if we don't pay attention. What is the vulnerable point I'm talking about? Vulnerable point is a person when they don't have gratitude for God Almighty, when they don't have gratitude for the universe. That's why it's very important every single day to go through a moment of gratitude, because when we are vulnerable, that is the moment that the dark energy or the dark side tries to manipulate us, and it can become depression if it's not taken care of. So it is darkness to light, depression to happiness. We can all do that. I'm talking about the universe of forgiveness, joy, earth angels. When we all together talk like an angel, walk like an angel, behave like an angel, and we always remind each other that God Almighty never gave us the spirit of fear, the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of confusion, or, yes, depression has a spirit. It has an energy. And the only way we can combat it and win over it with energy, if we are in a state of prayers. Being kind is prayers. Being forgiving is prayers. Feeding an animal is a prayer. Talking to somebody stranger on the street and letting them know how kind they are and how beautiful they are. That is eliminating and blocking the dark side, meaning to say depression into happiness. Right. In energy, there are two reasons for such darkness. In our energy patterns or energy DNA, I'm talking about our chakras and our energy system and our being and our aura. There are two reasons why we attract depression or darkness. Internal emotions, externally absorbed emotions. Internal emotions, I'm talking about the suppressed, repressed emotions, the low self-esteem, living with somebody or being next to somebody who's constantly telling us we are not beautiful even as a child. That is called internal emotion, and it can develop to suppressed, repressed emotion and feeling low, vulnerable, boom, dark side depression comes. Externally absorbed emotions, I'm talking about the auric attachments and the auric holes and the auric discarnates. I can go forever and ever about the aura. The internal emotions, our materialistic world, the society and pressure to be accepted. Within our internal emotions develop to become depressions. There are pressure of materialistic world, society, pressure to be accepted, achieving, pioneering, pressure to be at our best at all time, just like when we look at the magazines and everybody looks like a supermodel. It is your birthright to be happy, abundant, holy, magnificent, one of a kind. Yes, it's okay to look like a supermodel because the whole universe is beautiful, but remember, regardless of your size, regardless of your being, you are beautiful and you are that person who will transform together depression into happiness. So, even for some people who are unintentionally fake or having to always look their level best at our time or have all these society pressures on us, like if a person is not well dressed or well behaved or conditioned like they condition the children the first 7 years of their life, that person develops depression when they get older because they realize they cannot be all the time at this competition, or they can develop self-pattern of destroying by being expecting from themselves way too high. Right. The externally absorbed emotions, I mentioned our survival mode, the 95%, that when we are scared in the wilderness, once upon a time in the cave, if we are chased by a tiger, what is that? Cortisol. It goes to supply our adrenaline, meaning to say that cortisol, it becomes with pressure in nowadays society. It's everyday people are producing cortisol without their knowledge, without their awareness. Please stop and love yourself. Accept yourself. Be proud of who you are. You are beautiful. Absorbing at work from the society, from the social conditioning, from the energy of people around you, from the people who are so good at destroying others. I'm talking about destroying others morally and emotionally and psychologically. They are so good at it, and those people, they need help. And it's not their fault, but they really, really need help. That's why I came up with this sum up, that you are able to see who you are as a person. What's your life purpose? Who are you? What difference do you make to the planet? Do I need help? Do you need help? Does people around you need help? That's why in 1 hour, there are so many things, by the way, that are complicated and sophisticated. I will never say it on air. I'd rather have you one-on-one. That is, if you really, really want to have a difference in your life and combat depression. Right. I mentioned before, no fear, no anxiety, and no worry. Fear, anxiety, and worry. It's a triangle. Fear, anxiety, and worry. It's a triangle that destroys. And when we are doing, I mentioned the doshas before, the Ayurveda, but now why I'm mentioning this, if you come to me or have me on a private meditation or a group meditation, it is my job with one session of meditation, 1 hour of sound healing meditation. It is my job, my passion, what I'm born for, to clear your aura, align your chakras, voice therapy, sound healing, crystals, aromatherapy. In that 1 hour of meditation, you will realize how it is equal to 12 hours of sleep with one Reiki session. I guarantee you 12 hours of sleep, especially when it is merged with crystals, with breathing pranayama, with a bit of self-hypnosis and group hypnosis. It is a whole beautiful world of energy modalities. And talking about energy modalities, I mentioned I will not complicate things in 1 hour. There are 5 specific spiritual methods, I repeat, in the humble energy modalities. If you attend this workshop of 3 to 4 hours, including the 1 hour meditation, there are 5 specific spiritual methods. Remember the 5 elements of nature and the 4 corners. I have developed a humble 5 specific spiritual methods that they are beautifully guaranteed to transform any blue feelings into happiness and joy and light. And remember the angels and how we invite the angels in our life and how we are all earth angels. And when we seek the divine light, when we seek God Almighty, when we seek the kingdom of light, when we pray, when we meditate, when we raise our frequency vibration by loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, being proud of who we are as a person, these are the beautiful way and pattern of winning over depression. And during that workshop, we will go through together about the endocrine system, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid, adrenals, pineal body, ovaries, testes, endocrine system, the hormones and the hormonal change, and the blood circulation, and so many. Remember when I mentioned we merged spirituality into philosophy and energy modalities? Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry, I had to drink some water. It's almost over, this beautiful time. I don't want it to end. I need to share something with you very important. In this workshop, together we go through melatonin, we go through serotonin, we go through so many natural inborn hormonal system and encouraging the hormonal system to provide us with happy hormones, the hormones when we are happy, the hormones when we are satisfied with ourselves and the universe. And before I tell you goodbye, I want to share with you again that you are the best people ever and you are the best kind ever. And Albert Einstein also quoted, if we want to know ourselves within ourselves, if we want to know who we are, what's our life purpose, Who are we as people and why are we here? All what we have to do is go to nature. Listen to nature. Listen to Mother Earth. Attune ourselves with Mother Earth. Be one with the trees, with the plants, with the crystals, with everything that we know of. And with the power of love. With the power of love. One lovely word from your heart to the people around you or even to strangers. It raises the frequency vibration of the whole planet, that what is coming next is love and kindness and abundance, and that is how we go from depression to joy to happiness. Until I see you very, very soon in the next live, which I promise you it will be a surprise. I will announce about it very soon. Remember, you are in my heart, you are in my world, you are the reason why I am surviving. Love you all so much and see you very, very soon. Chamuel of Light. Bye for now.